The following is a production of Fenix Media. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the company or its advertisers and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.
Welcome to the Dogish podcast, the only podcast focused on the topics, events, and personalities impacting dog parents around the world. My name is Jasen Arias, founder of Forever USA, the dog photography experience catered to you and the dog who stole your heart. As always, I have with me Miss Sylvia West, dog mom, certified trainer, and pet expert. You can check her out over at Dog Up in This Bitch. How are you today?
Still riddled with allergies, but super I don't want to say pumped because that would not accurately describe the episode, but just like honored to share this experience that we had with Annie. It was very touching and
really good show.
It was great.
And the impact that a dog can have in not just one person's life, but in a family and where it can go from there.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. You're going to hear me blubbering. It was, she got me.
It was a good show. Really good show.
So I can't wait to share it with you.
Can't wait. Let's go ahead and jump straight to it.
Let's get into it.
So I'm excited to introduce you to, I met both of you guys on the Rescued Heroes Road Tour in 2019 as well. And Sylvia, I met her down in Southern California. And she's an amazing dog trainer. And then Annie, we were at a
dog park.
I struggle to call it a dog park. So it's called Bark, B-A-R-K, or Bar K, and it is a huge dog park that's enclosed, but it's a professional dog park. Like, they have trainers around everywhere, and they've got restaurants and drinks and an indoor area and live music, like this whole thing. In fact, they're coming on the show. It might be the show after this one. So,
good.
And Annie is an author of, and I have Sam Gets Adopted, and it's this incredible story. And so when we launched the podcast, I knew that we wanted to have Annie on. So I'm excited to have you guys both here.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Well, Annie, I'm super excited to talk to you because I don't know you. I didn't have the privilege of meeting you at this fancy indoor dog arena, if you will. So before we started, we were chatting about black dogs, and now I see Sam Gets Adopted. He's a black dog. So is this now a passion for you, this kind of like black dog awareness?
It truly is a passion. And I want to tell you why. My husband and I were married, and he had 3 little kids, and they didn't really want to come over to my house. I talked him into moving in with me, and they didn't really want to come over. And I said, why don't we get a dog? And so we went to the local shelter, and we had learned a little bit about black dog syndrome. And we knew that they had trouble getting adopted. And Jay and I knew that we wanted to choose a dog that was already trained, and we didn't have to potty train and, teach them all the tricks and all that kind of stuff. So we were looking specifically for a black dog to rescue. And we found Sam. And he's 5 years old, and he was very sad. He'd been surrendered by his first family, and he was just real punk. And our youngest, Mary, finally kind of got him out of his shell a little bit, and we took him outside. And he was so much fun, and he was so excited. So we adopted him that very day, and we brought him home. And he was just so great for our family. He helped us learn more about each other as we learned more about him. And he also just taught us that it's a wonderful opportunity to change a little dog's life by rescuing them.
That's incredible. And for our listeners who might not be aware, do you want to just shed some light on black dog syndrome?
So what we understand from black dog syndrome is that particularly older black mutts, as was Sam, that have the hardest time getting adopted. One of the reasons I've heard is because they're a little bit difficult to photograph. The other reason is it seems to be scary to little kids, this dark dog. So we're not exactly sure all the reasons, but we know for a fact that they tend to be the ones who are adopted last and perhaps even euthanized because they linger so long for rescue.
This is something that we became aware about a couple of years ago as well. And we heard the same thing, that with the influx of Instagram and popularity of social media, that black dogs, because people struggle to photograph them with their phones, and whether it's indoors or outdoors, that has seriously impacted, especially in rescues.
Yeah, I mean, my first dog that I rescued, little Tallulah, who left us last November, she was a black dog. And I remember my husband and I would just crack up because you take a picture of her and she just disappears.
Right.
Like, and we have a dark couch. So you would photograph her and it'd just be like, all you'd see is like the shine of her eyes, because she had black eyes too. So she would just completely disappear on you. So that's kind of, I could see why that would be. Did
you know about that, Sylvia? Did you know about Black Dog? So we briefly talked about it. So there's a month, and it's Black Dog Awareness Month, and that's in February. And then there's the day, which is October 1st.
Those are really far apart.
Yeah, oddly enough. But did you know about that, Sylvia?
I did not know. I mean, I knew about the awareness month, but I'm not still versed myself on all of the particulars. But I do know when I was looking for a puppy again, I did end up with another black dog. Cause I specifically told my rescue partner, like, no, I don't want a white dog. And she was like, I think you're the only person in the whole world who feels that way. But
I think some people might think that like the dark hair gets on furniture, it's kind of the exact opposite depending on what color couch. But I've heard some really bad stories. Like I've heard somebody returning a black dog because that they had with their family for years and years and years because they got a white sofa.
Oh, wow. Well, we're going to get more into this. I want to hear all about Sam getting adopted, which is literally the title of your book, without too many spoilers of the book, of course, because we want our listeners to read your wonderful story. But all this when we get back from the break.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get
different face and posting on their feed. They're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
Okay, so we're sitting here talking about the book Sam Gets Adopted with Annie, and we heard just the very intro about you bringing Sam home and kind of getting him out of his shell and whatnot. What inspired you to do the book? Like, what there had to have been like some kind of is the right word precipice? Am I pronouncing, is precipice the right word of when you
That's
decided
a good word.
Yeah,
I like that word.
Thank you. When you decided to launch the book.
So we lost Sam to cancer after 6 years. He lived to be 11, and we had just 6 years of his wonderful life. And during that time, the kids grew up. I grew up to be a better stepmonster. It was just really meaningful for all of us that Sam was in our lives. We walked with him. We played games with him. We taught him new tricks. We taught him how to swim, all kinds of fun things that taught us about ourselves and each other. And we realized that this was really a great story to share with others. So we decided after he passed that we would write a book about him. And it was going to be the story about us just going to get him.
Was there something that triggered that? Was there something was there a moment or a day or a conversation you can remember where you're sitting around, whether having dinner or maybe, I don't know, and you're like, you know what, we should write a book?
Truthfully, Jason, it was because we had to put him down. We had to make a very difficult decision. And it was a way of us thanking him. I'm going to cry.
Seriously, I'm getting very emotional.
Yeah, he was so important to us and our family. And so it was a way that we told him as we had to put him down that he was that important to us, and that we would remember him the way he was in a book. And then once we wrote the first one, we started writing the others. So every book is just something that Sam did with us as his family. So each book, and I think we're up to 12 now that we've written, and we're going to publish one every year. And we have the wonderful illustrator. Each book is about something that Sam did with us, and it's our way of remembering him.
I think that was one of the things that I really enjoyed when I read the book, for the first time and reading it with the kids, was there is a sense of realism to it. Like, there is a very strong feeling that you get when you're reading the book that this was an experience that you went through, which is amazing.
Right. And there are lots of really popular books and even some movies about dogs who think and they travel and they do all this interesting non-dog-like stuff. Mm-hmm. We wanted to have a very, very real, authentic experience in each book that Sam enjoyed. Well, actually, Sam goes on an airplane, which he did not enjoy, but it's real.
Right.
So that was kind of the point of it, is to help people understand what happens with a dog. What do you do with the dog in everyday life?
That's incredible. Yeah.
And so who does the writing? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Sylvia.
Well, I'm the primary writer. The kids have been very helpful in helping me remember how Sam responded to certain activities that we like to put in the book. And we also, in children's books, you have to have some tension. Mm-hmm. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you guys today and see what you thought, we've got a book coming out this year called Sam Goes Shopping. So at the end of the first book, Mary says, Dad, we've got to take him shopping. He needs all this stuff. And so we actually go to the big store and he tries out the beds and he chooses a toy and all that kind of stuff, typical activity.
I love that.
With the dog. But one of the conversations that we had, and this is what I'm curious from you guys to know, and maybe your listeners will chime in also, is if we can talk about our nervousness before we went about him peeing or pooping on the floor at the store. This is a very common concern that any person with their dog out in public has. Mm-hmm. And we remembered from the book, the adopted book, that he was potty trained. And we have a little conversation about that. And then we just say, okay, well, we're going to have to just keep really close eye on him because we don't want him to pee in the store. And then if he doesn't, we'll get him a toy. So that's kind of the tension that we built in the book. Mm. And you kind of worry about the whole time that he might pee on the floor and not get his toy. So I'm just wondering how parents...
Oh, Sam.
Yes. I'm wondering about how parents feel that we address this in a book for early readers. So these are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-olds. Well, really, children of any age like these books.
I like the book.
Yeah.
I would probably like the book. I'm a child at heart. I think that that's so valuable, especially because something that I always kind of pick up from children's books is we obviously want our children, for those of us who have children, I don't, but we want the children to be able to see themselves in the book and or relate to a character in the book. So even though the book is about a dog, like a child will see themselves in the dog somewhere. And so I think that the value of having kind of like a reward-based system is so healthy, in how we look at our dogs and the responsibility of owning a dog, especially for young kids who really, really want dogs, but maybe don't understand the ramifications of caring for a living animal. I think it's a really healthy kind of juxtaposition to present to help kids learn the value of responsibility of keeping your eyes on your dog. And like, yes, we can go all these places and, this is a responsibility, not just to the animal, but to like the other patrons of the store and how they might feel about your dog being there. So I find it really insightful that you're including that.
Well, it's a real concern. So I've been asking around, and I appreciate that, Sylvia, because it's important to get the book right.
I think the other part too is that it doesn't have to be like a long, drawn out portion of the book, and the problem and solution is so quick and easy and positively handled. I mean, every time that I've gone to one of those stores, if one of the dogs has a mess, most of the good quality stores, the people are there to quickly clean it up, or there's little stations that are right there to clean it up too. So if this is the first time that somebody's being being exposed to having that experience, like, so they're reading this in the book, knowing that I'm going to go to one of these stores and that it's going to be a non-embarrassing, comfortable situation to deal with, that might help parents get over that concern as well.
There are tons of children's books about potty training.
Right.
I couldn't find a single reference to a dog book with the topic. So I think we're going to go for it.
I think you should. I think it's it's multi-layered, definitely, because all children's books are. There's like so many messages in there, and it's always up for someone's interpretation. So I think any kid's going to hear a message in there that they need to hear, which I think really is what the value of the story you're telling is.
And we really need the tension. You have to have a moment of tension that the kids kind of think about through the book. Mm-hmm.
A lesson to be learned. Right. Definitely.
So we did release Sam Sees Santa Claus this year at Christmas. Well, 2020. And it's a super cute book too. And it's probably the only one that's, kind of fiction, just because Santa. Sure. But the tension in that book is basically, we tell him his favorite food is carrot and cookie. These are his favorite snacks. And of course, that's what you leave out for Santa and the reindeer. And they literally were his favorite foods. So the whole tension in this book is whether or not he will eat the cookies and the
Santa's cookies.
Yeah.
And the reindeer's carrots. Oh, boy.
Before Santa gets there. So it's super cute. And there's always nervousness. So when the kid says, "Uh-oh, he might eat them," you captured the tension that you need in this age group book.
Amazing.
It's cute. It's really cute. The illustrations were a lot harder in the Santa book.
I can imagine.
Mm-hmm. But then we have a wonderful Hallmark artist. He was 29 years at Hallmark, which luckily that's the headquarters here in Kansas City. And he'd never done a children's book. And he's a beautiful illustrator.
Yeah, the cover is adorable. I love that picture of Sam.
What I was blown away to find out that you have 12 books now.
Well, we've written them.
Oh, okay.
We're only bringing them out one year at a time.
So how many are out right now for the public?
Just the 2, and one's coming out this year.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2 are on Amazon right now in paperback, hardback, and as ebooks.
Okay.
So you can get Sam.
I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God.
When does Sam Goes Shopping come out?
Well, I think we're probably going to try to get him out in June.
Okay.
He's with the illustrator now, and they're just waiting for me to decide whether or not we're going to have that tension of conversation. But he's there now, and the designer's ready. It's a lot of work to put together a little book.
Yeah,
takes a lot of different moving parts, but I think it'll be on by June, and then we'll probably promote Christmas in July with Santa again, because we actually sold out Santa this year.
Oh, wow.
Last Christmas. We completely sold out of them. Even Amazon. We just didn't anticipate the interest in it. So we're going to have a Christmas in July for everybody who didn't get one last year.
Oh, that would be me, because I didn't get one and I want one.
And we should, we talked about it just a second ago too, so we should give him some credit. You were talking about the illustrator. John Keeling is his name? Right. So, definitely.
Well done, John.
Yeah.
And he's on Facebook and LinkedIn also.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to take this moment to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Hey everyone, let's all stop what we're doing and take a moment. You see, every moment can be kind of special. But they can be loud moments, goofy moments, dorky moments, it doesn't matter. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untidy roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you? Texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
My name is Lola Silvestri, and I'm going to be 95 this year. I was very independent. I fell, and I had to have Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
So during the break, Annie, you were telling us about how difficult writing a children's book is. So talk to our listeners now about this photo shoot that you did with Sam, because I just think that that's so special.
Well, we knew Sam was full of cancer in his snout, and he pretty much had a headache all the time, and it just wasn't a good situation. So we made the decision to go ahead and let him go over the Rainbow Bridge. But I knew that we were going to do the book. We'd already started talking about the book. And so we did a professional photo shoot with him so we could capture him with all these different looks on his face and different postures and in different ways that he interacted with us so that we could share that with the illustrator once we found him. And that finding the illustrator took me 10 years. So
wow.
Sam's been gone since 2005. And then I spent the next 10 years looking for the right illustrator, finally found him. And then we were able to share with him all the photographs that we took so that he could consistently capture Sam when he was smiling, when he was happy, when he was sad, when he was curious, all these different adjectives that describe his features, whether in body or in face, so that we could use them properly in the book. Little kids are tough with books. If you mix something up or you forget something or you just do it out of sequence, they catch it every time. So we had to be very, very careful about consistency with the way Sam looks and feels.
Wow, they're hyper perceptive.
Hyper, right. Surprisingly.
They can't remember to put away the orange juice, but they'll definitely catch all that stuff.
Well, they don't care about putting away the orange juice.
They do care about Sam.
Sorry, my orange juice was not put away this morning, so it's fresh on my mind.
I felt the little bit of tension there, Jason.
You know, what we found with these books is that these shelters love these as gifts for their donors to share the story about how important it is to rescue a dog. And we've been very happy about that because we want to support rescue.
I think the other thing that I love, and this is like a huge, strong passion of ours, is ending the stigma of rescues. And like this idea that they're broken or something's wrong with them or whatever it may be, getting more stories out there, showing the impact that they've had more on our lives than anything that we could have ever had on their lives is phenomenal. So I love that too. What are some...
That was part of our reasoning, Jason, because the kids and I just really didn't know each other very well when Jay and I were married. And the dog was just this healing factor for all of us. Somehow we were able to just get to know him. And as a result, we got to know each other. But we didn't ever really have to, play 20 questions. The awkwardness of just getting acquainted was real. And so with Sam, he just eased that path so quickly and gently. And it turned out that later we were able to recognize how important he was to all of us as a result of just helping us get to know each other.
Annie, you are just making me a mess this morning. I mean, seriously.
Sorry, I cry about this too. And I miss him so much. But, you know, he had to go, man. He was done. He'd done all he could for us. And we had to tell him goodbye.
And I think, honestly, like, the thing that we really try to get across in this podcast, as I'm like sobbing for those of you who are watching me right now, but just listening to me, the thing that we really try to get across is this human-animal bond and the value that a dog can bring into a family's life. And I think that you've just so eloquently kind of illustrated what it is to bring a dog into your life and how seamlessly they can create a family and how much a part of that family unit they really are. And I think that as a society, we're valuing dogs less as property and more as family. And I just think that what an impactful thing to do, and how brilliant to create a book about a rescue dog just doing normal dog things, not being super fantastical, and not being super sad either, but just being normal, I think is a powerful aid in ending the stigma about rescue.
We have a book that is called Sam Looks for a Job. And he goes around and he meets all these dogs that have jobs, right? This is what you're referring to, Sylvia. Mm-hmm. Some of them are amazing. There are dogs who can sniff out cancer, bombs. There are dogs who save people, in the mountains. There are dogs who lead the blind. There were dogs in World War II that were strapped in vests and they had morphine and cigarettes, and they went out on the battlefield and delivered morphine and cigarettes to the wounded soldiers. And there are all these jobs that dogs can have. And every day you read about a new job that a dog can have because they're so smart and they have such amazing sense of smell. Well, Sam goes around and meets all these guys and we talk about their different jobs. I love
that.
But he, in the end, chooses just to be our family dog. It's okay just to be a dog that just stays home and keeps track of everybody. And that's what he preferred. And so you're right. There are some amazing animals out there, but this guy, he was just a dog.
We ran into that.
But that is a superpower, I think, too. Yeah.
We ran into that conversation a ton when we were photographing for the rescue book that we do. We would talk to people and tell them about the book project, see if they're interested in signing up. And they said, well, my dog doesn't have any kind of special story. And like, that was sad for me, because most of the time, if you talk to somebody, the story, the impact that their dog has had on their life is by far more impactful than a dog that we would consider special or whatever, like in the news, has had on somebody else's life. Like these are things that we need to be celebrating with our animals at home.
So we had to play catch with Sam every day. He loved the tennis ball so much, so much. So we exercised every day. We went on a walk. We played tennis ball with him. He liked to play tug of war. I mean, every day we were able to exercise because of Sam, which is absolutely awesome. Most people don't. And that was a real refresher for us. It just caused us to go out and do things. And he also just helped us consider our plans. What were we doing? What can Sam go? Will Sam need to stay home? All that kind of stuff. We were considerate and learned to be considerate as a result of him. And the kids grew up in this environment, and they all have dogs. They're all grown-ups now. They all have dogs. One's a veterinarian.
Wow.
Yeah. And knows all about all kinds of little animals. And we feel like Sam really catapulted us to that next level of giving and caring about animals in general, just because he had a hard start. And he came to us and brought so much value. So you're right. You guys are absolutely right. And I'm sure tons and tons of people can tell that story.
Absolutely. And I think so many people undervalue that story, which is, I think, what Jasen is saying. My first rescue dog, I knew she was a rescue, but I was 20 and I didn't really understand the value of that. And I brought her into my life, and she completely changed the course of my life, the path of my life to what it is now, where now I'm actually a dog professional, and my mission is keeping dogs and families together as a dog trainer. So I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing had I not adopted this little black Papillon that I literally originally said she looked like a rat when I saw her in the rescue center. I was like, ugh. My now husband, who then was just a friend, was like, oh, look at this cute little Papillon. And I was like, she looks like a rat. Cut to 3 hours later, and I had her home, and that was that. Now I'm a crazy dog mom with dog calendars and a dog podcast.
But I think the other thing, too, that I really want to double down on is that your dog doesn't have to inspire you to get into the dog business or to write a book or like the hero in your life can literally just be somebody that is there to sit on the couch and watch TV with you and just give you a sense of calm. Like that is so understated. To be your best friend, to be there unconditionally. One of the things that like I love personally about having dogs in the house is, and I still haven't figured out the right way to say this, but they don't give a crap about our problems, right? So they don't allow us to fester on those problems. Like when we have best friends or we sit down, how are things going? Like it feels like, okay, I've got to open up and talk about like there's this problem and that problem. And it kind of keeps it at the surface, where you get home and you have a dog that's just happy to see you regardless of good or bad. You don't have to sit and talk about that problem. You can. They're still happy, but it's just a moment of just being able to detach and relax and spend some time that it has no drama. You guys see what I'm saying? Like, again, I
spoken like a true man. Am I right, Annie?
Yeah, no drama.
No drama. No, and I think that's just, what, just reiterating what Annie said about how Sam was really able to just allow her family to be a family, even though they weren't one yet.
One of the things that we struggled with is that very topic in the first book, when Sam was able to share with us that he liked us. And I don't know if you remember that page where his tail won't stop wagging, and it won't ever stop wagging and wagging and wagging. And so that's how we showed his interest and love for us almost immediately. And that's what you get when you come home. You see these videos all the time on YouTube or whatever of soldiers coming home. They haven't seen their dog in a year, and the dog just jumps all over them and wags their tail like mad. And they're just so happy to see him. We really struggled with that. And that's how we addressed it with the tail wagging. But because we weren't real big on licking, but lots of people liked their dogs to actually kiss them. And we weren't real big on that. But kissing and wagging is a big, big deal with dogs. And they do. They just don't need to hear about your problems. They just want you to know that they love you.
That's it.
That's it.
And that's my favorite part. Like, that is my absolute favorite part. Just the happiness.
Mine too. All right. When we come back, we only have a little bit time left with Annie, but more when we get back from this break.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter, Brooklyn, was also a motivation for me to go back to school. Every day after work, went straight to school, and it paid off.
At age 26, Kareem finished his high school diploma.
I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week, she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m., and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Dear John, I'm leaving. Uncontrolled high blood pressure is serious, and I can quit whenever I want. Why can't we get back to when you checked on me? I don't want to leave, but remember, when I quit, you quit. Sincerely, your heart.
Listen to your heart and don't let it quit on you. High blood pressure can lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range today. For help keeping yours at a healthy range, text PRESSURE to 97779. A message from the American Heart Association, the American Stroke Association, and the Ad Council.
WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. Take one.
Behold the angry giant.
Try it again, Alberto.
Behold the angry giant.
Perfect. Good luck tonight.
Behold the angry giant.
Yay! Read me another one, Dad.
This is WWE superstar Alberto Del Rio. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard, so you don't need to sell all your belongings and live in a commune.
These dungarees belong to all of us now, Tom.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman!
You just need FeedThePig.org. Don't get left behind. Get tips and tools at FeedThePig.org. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Fenix Media. Listen live and explore more great shows at fenixmedia.us.
So something else that you've kind of brought up a couple times, Annie, is what you've learned writing these books. And some of it's been like, that kids catch this, or that you have to increase tension, or like, what are some other things that maybe you like writing a book? I know that this is going to inspire a lot of people to want to consider doing this as well. And I love that people want to be able to share their stories even more. That's incredible. But like, what are some things that you've picked up along the way? Not necessarily how to write a book, but something that the book's taught you.
So I have learned a lot about book writing, that's for sure. But one thing that's been really important is how the involvement of an adult with a child who's learning to read changes the life of the child. We know now that if a child in second grade is not reading to the second grade level, the likelihood is they will not graduate high school. And there are intervention programs after school that are provided now to get kids back up to their grade. So they're monitoring kindergartners, first graders, and second graders now to make sure they're reading at grade level. We have given a lot of books to teachers and asked them to share the book with the kids. And not only do the kids learn about reading, they learn about caring for a dog, but they also lose themselves in the book and the joy of the book and the adventure of the books. And as a result, we feel like it's an opportunity to help a kid be more interested in reading. Because if they can't read, it's not good. So the whole goal of getting the books in the hands of these little kids, the early readers, like 4 to 8, is really important.
I think that's so... you really are on a mission here, Annie. You're just you're like, got to take care of the kids, got to take care of the black dogs, got to take care of, it's absolutely incredible. And what a way to honor Sam and give back to the impact that he's made in your lives. So I'm kind of guessing here, were the kids around that age when you adopted Sam?
Right. The kids were 5, 9, and 12.
Wow.
And,
so is this kind of like the story that you would have given to them when they were that age, if you could have given them a book?
Yes, that's what we had, all kinds of books, of course. And what we did was we spent a lot of time reading aloud to each other. So we passed the book around so everybody'd get to read a couple of pages. And of course, everybody had different levels of learning, but we were generous in giving plenty of time to the 5-year-old as we were forcing the 12-year-old to sit with us. It was just such a great family opportunity. But gosh, there's so many lessons to learn, but I just think the books that you give kids really matter. You have to give them something that interests them so that they will want to read, not just give them stuff to read so you can prove that they can or will learn to read. And dog books are really great, especially if a family is trying to decide whether or not to adopt a dog or even get a dog. This series is almost educational in nature because it tells about real adventures. It's the real way to take care of a dog.
Did you have any passion or previous history writing books or anything like that before?
Oh, yes. My friend and I have written 4 guided journals, which these books are ones that you fill out, and they're about yourself. And it's about the 4 major components of your life. So birth, marriage, buying a home, and retiring. The number 1 book in our series is called Read This When I'm Dead. And you tell about yourself, and you tell about your stuff, and you tell about your funeral wishes, and you leave it for your people. And it's hilarious. So much fun to fill out.
The word hilarious.
Absolutely hilarious. And again, it's something that everybody needs to do. And then the anniversary book you fill out every year on your anniversary, and the birthday book you fill out for a kid on their birthday every year, and then you give it to them on their 21st birthday. And the house book, you keep track of vendors and paint chip colors and renovations and how much money you've invested in your home. And these are kind of the 4 biggies in life. So yes, we had written 4 guided journals before I tackled Sam.
Wow.
Okay, and then my question to you is, did you have a vested interest in animal welfare before getting Sam? Like, was Sam your first rescue, your first dog? Like, how did you veer into that sector? Was it always a passion of yours?
I've always been a rescuer. We had a dog when I was a child who was they tried to make him be a police dog, but he was a hybrid dog. He was a German Shepherd and a Collie. And he didn't pass the test. He was too nice. And somehow
curse that Collie.
Yeah. He somehow ended up at our house, and he was very, very protective of us. The kids, all the kids in the neighborhood, he was very, very protective. So I've always had a warm spot because of that failure Duke had as a professional, but such a success he was for us as a family. And then the next time I was able to adopt was out of college, and we adopted a little dog named Muttley. And he was a cute little dog, and a beagle who dug under all the fences. And yeah, nobody changed my life like Sam, though. Nobody.
There's always one.
There's always that. He was your soul dog, it sounds like.
Well, he came at a time when we needed help. Melding families, which is about 50% of America now, blending families is tricky. It's very tricky. And so Sam was able to help us just bridge that gap with a lot less drama.
And so now he's inspired. So there's the 2 books that are out
beautiful.
Now, and there's 9 more that are coming.
2 are out. One's being published this year, and we have written 9 others
that are in the works.
Like, I can tell you some of the titles, but he goes to the kennel when we go on vacation. He goes to the vet to get his shots. We learn all the reasons why you need to do this. So he goes on an airplane. He has a birthday party. We had a birthday party and invited all our friends, and they brought their dogs. Hilarious. And in that way, we're putting a little recipe for dog treats that you can make at home. So there are all kinds of little adventures that we can write about. He goes to the groomer. He goes to the lake. He really didn't like the lake, but he learned to swim in the lake. And then, of course, the one I haven't written goes over the Rainbow Bridge. I'm not quite there yet, but I'll need to write that because that's an important part of having animals. We tend to outlive all of our animals. So that will need to be accomplished as well.
That'll be a tough one, but that is really important.
Yes.
And me again, Annie. Just
no, sorry, I'm
killing
not
us this morning.
To make you cry.
No, I mean, it's just beautiful. Okay, well, unfortunately, we are at the end of our show. Fortunately for me, because I think if I blubber anymore, I might lose my job as a host. But we do end our show in a very special way. If you haven't heard one of our podcasts yet, Jason, would you like to?
Yeah, you're asking me to shift gears from sad to
yeah, and just on a good happy note. I desperately need one of your dog dad jokes.
Let me ask one more question, and then we're going to get to the dog dad joke, okay?
All right.
Okay, so where can we buy these books, Annie?
Oh, yes.
The best place is on Amazon.
Okay.
Sam Gets Adopted, Sam Sees Santa Claus, or you can just look up my name, Annie Presley. And they're all there, and you can get them in any format that you want, hardback, softback, ebook.
Okay, and we'll have those all linked in the show as well.
We will link it in the show notes.
Yep. Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy! Wow, the anticipation.
Wow. Okay.
She says, "Wow."
What do you call a dog with a surround system? A surround sound system. Sorry. What do you call a dog with a surround sound system?
Conehead.
A subwoofer.
Oh my God. That one was good. Cute. That one was good. That was cute.
I could only think about that cone they wear when they aren't supposed to lift their paws or whatever.
It's true.
Good
that
one.
makes sense. Oh my goodness. Well, Annie, thank you so much for all of your time today.
You guys are awesome too.
We're gonna we'll have you back on the show, like maybe in June or something like that, when your next book's coming out.
Yeah,
we can talk about that.
That'll be great. I'll keep you posted.
That's
amazing. Thanks,
Sylvia,
Annie.
nice to meet you. Jason, so nice.
Lovely to meet you.
Great seeing you again. I'll talk to you soon later.
Just want to take a quick second to re-thank Annie for coming on and just sharing this wonderful story about Sam and what it is to just be a regular dog in a family. And as always, thank everybody for listening, tuning in with us this week. Now, anything that you heard today, including the links for where to buy the Sam series, you can find in our show notes as per usual. If you're not already, please make sure you are subscribed so that you can stay updated on all of the wonderful guests that we will be sharing with you. And if there is a guest or personality or topic that we are not covering that you want us to cover, please let us know. This is the Dogish podcast. We want to talk about all things dogs for dog families, just like you, just like Annie's, just like mine, just like yours. Right, Jason?
Yes. And we get to tell people about an exciting little thing that Annie gave to us right after we stopped recording the show.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. We get to give away 5 books.
Yes.
So we'll give that away either over on Facebook or Instagram or something like that. We'll find a fun way to do that. So make sure that you check out everybody's social media accounts. And we're going to give 5 people a book.
Sweet. Secretly hoping that one of those 5 people is me. I'm just kidding. Thank you again, everyone, for listening, and enjoy our giveaway.
See you later.